Iran and this horrible sponsor of global terrorism, their military is degraded. They are unable to project power. And I think gas prices, energy prices will be lower than they were on February 28th. This is temporary. We will move beyond this, and we will come out on the other side, and the growth will be better, and our security will be real, not illusory.
And that's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent with me moments ago with breaking news. I think some of the most important comments that the Secretary made with me moments ago was that the U.S. may unsanction Iranian oil on the water in the coming days. He also said that the U.S. could do another release of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to keep prices from spiraling upwards. The Secretary made lots of news with me moments ago, and we will continue to get that sound out this morning. In the midst of a move in oil prices this morning, they are trending higher once again, with Brent up 5 2/3% at 113 and change, and the price of crude up a fraction at 96.71 right now. This after targeted strikes from Israel hit Iran's South Pars gas field overnight, causing Iran to retaliate and hit back at Qatar's LNG facilities. That prompted President Trump to post on Truth Social, there will be no more attacks on key oil fields in Iran. Top oil executives are set to meet at the White House later today with Vice President J.D. Vance, Energy Secretary Chris Wright, as well as my next guest, the Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, joins me right now. Secretary, thank you so much for joining me this morning on this very important work that you are doing. What can you tell us in terms of what we should expect out of today's meeting?
Well, Maria, let me just start by saying that under President Trump's leadership, so many great things happening relative to the military execution, but also relative to long-term economy, because not only are we going to we have lower taxes, much lower regulation. President Trump's policies around energy and around energy pricing are all about abundance. It's all about energy dominance, and that's showing up, whether that's coordinating in the temporary actions like coordinating the United States coordinating the largest release of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But what you just heard from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, these ideas of unsanctioning floating barrels, which are like additional strategic petroleum reserves. And then yesterday up in Alaska at the National Petroleum Reserve Alaska, we had the largest lease sale ever in history, $164 million in, over 1.3 million acres bid, all the top companies from around the world wanting to increase production there. The Jones Act waiver that occurred last week is going to help lower prices. So whether it's temporary actions that the President Trump's leadership is driving, or whether it's this long-term foundation of prosperity and true security, the U.S. and the long-term economy has never been better positioned than it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, this was the issue that I was trying to get with the Secretary in terms of all that water, that oil on the water right now. And, China has been able to get that oil from Iran at lowered, cheaper prices than market prices. How do you balance continuing the pressure, this maximum pressure campaign, when it is obviously colliding with the realities of the moment on the ground, which is oil prices going higher? I mean, the Secretary said that you're going to see the U.S. unsanction that oil on the water. Does that actually impact the price in your view? Do you think that's enough to send prices lower over the near term?
Well, absolutely. These are like additional strategic petroleum reserves, and the market, it needs to understand, and people need to understand that, like Russia, they got they get paid at the wellhead primarily or through the taxes they collect. If it's already on the water and floating, that the oil that's on the water floating may already be in the possession of ownership of someone else. So unsanctioning it just gives it an opportunity to be bought by our allies like India at market price, as opposed to the money going to either Russia or Iran. These are barrels that have already left those countries, and they're out there kind of in limbo, but they're like additional strategic petroleum reserve releases, and so that takes pressure off the actual strategic petroleum reserves that countries like the U.S. or Japan have. But it puts more molecules on the market to help lower prices in the short term. And of course, the Jones Act waiver, which just happened, that's going to help, again, affordability for Americans, because it's going to lower the cost of transportation when we move molecules off the Gulf and to the East Coast, for example. So a lot of great short-term and long-term things that are happening. But let's not forget, again, the strategy of President Trump. What's going on down in Venezuela, where I was there 2 weeks ago, where, again, the excitement and interest of investment in Venezuela, that is, which has the world's largest reserves, furthering the strategy of reducing U.S. dependence on any energy from across the world, but keeping it in the Western Hemisphere. And then having just got back from the first ever Indo-Pacific Energy Security Conference, which the U.S. hosted with Japan, we had representatives from 17 countries there, and every single one of them wants to buy more U.S. energy. And we concluded $57 billion of deals over the weekend, like real deals across critical minerals, nuclear, oil and gas. I mean, the demand for U.S. energy around the world for secure supply and secure supply delivery chains is going to go through the roof after this. So again, coming off the backside of this, and our military, the way they're executing, this thing is progressing ahead of schedule. But it is going to be a very exciting future for America, because President Trump's policies are all about increasing supply and increasing security. The Democrats and Joe Biden's administration was all about restricting supply. They were right. Literally trying to reduce the amount of fuel in the world. President Trump is increasing it. Again, I'm having come from Venezuela and from Japan, I'm more optimistic than ever about where things are going to end up for the economy, for the United States, for Americans, for working families coming out of the backside of this.
Well, that's incredible. And I know you joined me on Sunday to talk about that $57 billion in deals, 22 deals that you were able to lock up while in Japan. And today, the Prime Minister of Japan is at the White House meeting with President Trump. What do you want to hear from her in terms of working with this president and ensuring that you can actually execute all of that and do so while securing the Strait of Hormuz right now?
Well, I think here's a country, Japan, 120 million people in the size of North and South Dakota with almost zero oil and gas. When their supply chains right now, over 90% of their oil and gas coming through the Strait of Hormuz, they're so interested in us having more production coming from the U.S. and particularly from Alaska. So one of the things that I think that you're going to see today is you're going to hear deals that are announced between Japan and the U.S. The great work that's been done on strengthening the trade relations between the two countries. So I think you're going to just continue to hear more positive news. Last weekend, we met with 3 of her ministers across trade, energy, and natural resources. They're all aligned about stronger relationships with the U.S. And, of course, again, Japan, one of the largest economies and turning out to be, always has been a great ally. Always been a great ally, but they're, again, some very positive things. So stay tuned to that. We look after the meetings today at the White House with the Japanese Prime Minister.
All right, Secretary, thank you. We appreciate you giving us that preview and also adding on to what the Secretary of Treasury told us, where the U.S. may unsanction that Iranian oil on the water in the coming days. And Bessent said that the Iranian barrels are about 140 million right now, and that the U.S. could actually do another release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We'll be watching your meetings today, Secretary, at the White House with those oil executives as well. Thank you, sir. Good to see you this morning.